What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about some of Norway's weirdest laws. So, today, I want to take a look at this Reddit discussion where somebody asked, what is the most unreasonable law you know in Norway? And a whole bunch of Norwegians have answered this question. And I thought it'd be fun to check this out and see how different the laws in Norway are from here in the United States. So let's take a look here, starting with the cinemas are not allowed to open before 1300 or 1 o'clock on Sundays. 1 o'clock? The whole day is basically over at that point. The law is from 1735. This is like a 300-year-old law about cinemas? Movie theaters? Is supposed to prevent people from skipping church? Okay. All right, I was wondering, like, make this make sense. That's like the only thing that makes any sense about it. Okay, the government decided to keep the law last year? Really? They were actually trying to decide whether or not to keep this law, and Norway is keeping it? So, the cinemas, movie theaters in Norway, on Sunday can't open before 1 o'clock? Well, on Sunday in Norway, isn't everything kind of closed down everywhere anyway? Isn't that a thing in Norway? I think it's Sunday. Aren't most things closed anyway? So maybe this isn't that crazy. It's just like a weird law to have that's 300 years old. How many cinemas made people skip church in 1735? I know, like, was this necessary? Okay, I don't know if it's unreasonable, as I don't know much about it, but you cannot put eyeglasses on birds. Are these real? Is this real? What is this? It's in the animal welfare law. Norway, you guys get very, very specific with your laws. No glasses on birds. I don't know why you would do that, but I guess it's fine if there's a law against it. You're probably abusing the animal if you're like forcing glasses on a bird. Why? When did this law even be? When was this created? Why is this necessary? The funny thing is, some guy was out there doing that specific thing, and they had to make a law about it. Exactly. What the heck? I knew that the laws would be different in Norway, different from here in America, but this is just weird. If you are married without children and your spouse dies, you only inherit half of your spouse's assets. If you're married, so you are husband and wife, and then like your husband dies, you didn't have any children, you only get half? Many have had to sell their home because of this. The solution is to make a will. Oh, this is if you do not make a will. That's why it's very, very important in a lot of countries, especially here in America, to make a will. Otherwise, it can get very complicated and everything gets split up and nobody knows what the deceased person's intentions were. This is the default if there's no will. It's weird because this is your spouse, though. This is your husband or wife, and obviously you would think they would have left everything to their spouse. But I understand, like, there has to be a law and a technicality about it, but that's if there's no will. Interesting, but I kind of get it. Kind of. The 400% tax on imported cheese. What? Is this a thing? Norway has a 400% tax on cheese? You guys really, really don't want imported cheese. That's all I... What else is this for? This is to discourage, like, bringing cheese from other countries? I have never heard of a country so against imported cheese. Is this real? 400%. I get the reasoning for the duty. What does that mean, for the duty? But by God, it is irritating to have to pay 5 times the amount that extra mature cheddar should cost. Right, like if there's any cheese you want that happens to come from another country, in Norway, this is 400%. I've never heard of a 400% tax on anything. That is the Norwegian government very clearly saying they do not want you to import cheese. That's all. Oh my God. Does Norway have a lot of good cheese? I know you guys have the brown cheese, brunost. That's good stuff, right? I've heard. Oh my God. That's random. Okay. Not a particular law, but I always chuckle a bit when I read Norwegian laws. There's almost always a bit about the king. Things like, this law is effective from whenever the king says so. And the king can give exemptions from this law as if he says so. Norway is a country that has royalty. You guys have a king, right? As an American, I can't really relate very much to this idea. We don't have royalty in America. We never have. We think it's a little strange for things like this, but it's a cool tradition, and I've heard that the King of Norway is very down to earth, so this makes sense. This is like a funny sort of historical thing, but back in the day, the king had to sign off on everything. Like, he had the ultimate power, right? So this makes sense historically for Norway. If you own waterfront property, your land extends as far as a horse can wade. It seems like all of these Norwegian laws are just very old laws that maybe made sense at one point, and now nobody bothered to get rid of these. How far your horse can go into the water? That's how people just decided things back then, with the most random stuff. Is that true? It is illegal for a Norwegian citizen to launch rockets to space from a vessel in international waters. Well, that's probably a good thing. I don't think anybody should be launching stuff into space from international water. Yeah, isn't that violating some kind of international laws or something? Nobody should be doing that. If you want to launch a rocket into space from your own country, sure, fine, whatever. Okay. How's a Norwegian citizen going to randomly launch a rocket into space, by the way? Is that something Norwegians do? I wonder what prompted the writing of that law. Exactly. I really wonder what influenced a lot of these laws. Using a bicycle while drunk is technically drunk driving? No. And if you're stopped by police, you will get a DUI and lose your license. Oh, for driving a bike? In America, that would be like the responsible thing to do. People would congratulate you like, that's good, you're not driving your car. You're riding your bike. Good. In Norway, how drunk are you getting? This is because riding a bike drunk is considered a danger? I guess, yeah, you could run into people, but it makes me wonder, what are Norwegians doing on bikes? What are you guys doing? That's really a big... You could lose your license, get a DUI, like a charge. All for drive. What if you just want to like drink and drive, ride your bike as a like fun thing? You can't even do that. I guess that's the safe thing to do. I have a friend who got a ticket for drunk biking and framed it on the wall. And he framed it. That's funny. The less fun part is that this also counts for electric wheelchairs. You can't drink and drive an electric wheelchair? Handicapped people in wheelchairs can't even get drunk? What is... I don't know about this. This is like the first Norwegian law that I might have a problem with. Especially the wheelchair thing. Norway has generally been very good at cleaning up its law, so I don't know of many strange laws. One might seem strange is the rules of prostitution in Norway. Is prostitution legal in Norway? It is illegal to buy sex from a person, but there's no law against selling sexual services? What's the difference? What? I don't understand. What? The reason given is that we should not criminalize trafficked women? Oh. For women who are sexually trafficked against their will, they would be breaking a law. But because of this loophole, they're not. Okay. Okay. I understand. So that the people who are the victims aren't breaking the law. That's a weird loophole, though. That law makes me happy living in Norway. I like a lot of our strict laws. Vinmonopolet. I don't know what that means. Beer, wine, spirits opening law. Sunday closed. What does this mean? What is Vinmonopolet? Is this like alcohol laws? Alcohol laws in Norway? Closed on Sunday. I don't know exactly what this person is referring to be honest. If you're mowing your lawn on your own property using a mower, you are not allowed to drink alcohol. Norway really takes drinking and operating moving vehicles very seriously. It's funny because, like, in America, that'd be a joke. Like, getting drunk and getting a ticket for riding your lawnmower, that's like a joke here. But, I appreciate how you guys really, really prioritize safety. That's really cool. I understand why. You're subject to the same rules as if you are driving on roads with the potential to kill someone. I mean, this is probably one of the reasons why Norway is such a safe country. You guys take this really, really seriously, operating machinery or anything while drunk. I really respect it, honestly. If any life is saved by taking it this serious, that's a great thing. Alcohol laws in general in Norway, the time restriction can make you overcompensate. I think they're talking about how you can only buy alcohol at certain times. The prices are not making anyone stop using alcohol. And the alcohol in Norway is very expensive, I guess. I don't know. There seems to be a lot of laws around alcohol that I don't really understand in Norway. You are not allowed to send butter in the mail. That's what I'm talking about. That's a weird law. This is from World War II. People were smuggling and selling butter on the black market using the postal service. Really? Mailing butter? Can you... in envelopes? No, probably in packages, but why were people having to smuggle butter? Why? It's not like a drug. Why is this illegal? Mailing butter. You're acting like it's a drug or something. I don't... We have a recently deleted local law. If you were to drive your car on Sundays, you had to call the mayor to get allowance. So there's a lot of, like, small little Norwegian towns and communities and probably laws like this everywhere or something. That's funny. This was all very funny. There's a lot of random laws. Some are like from historical periods in Norway. Some of these laws are just old and Norway never got rid of them. And some of them are just like with the alcohol and driving, very cautious, which I appreciate. And I don't know, this was really interesting. It actually gave me a good insight into Norwegian culture, these weird laws you have. It was entertaining. So, anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of these weird Norwegian laws or any Norwegian laws that you know of that should be on this list. That'd be cool to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and learning about Norwegian things for the first time, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.